I give it up. There. People to access. We're not waiting on Sam, but we can all get him anyway. Like that's a favorite part of his job. Noted it in his evaluation. Too.
Did you throw the axe? Yes, Judy. Oh, no, you weren't here.
Did I want? No, I didn't do any acts.
I'm not doing that.
Lose an
I
eye.
intend to go.
That's what I'm saying, somebody lose an eye behind me, yeah. Need that. Like.
Get out.
You have any joke? Someone, yeah, almost just posted to your timeline. That's pretty good. I don't even remember what it was.
All right, we'll call the meeting of State Fair Community College Board of Trustee on Thursday, April 23rd, 2026, here in the Hopkins Boardroom. We welcome all of you that are here, and we'll probably hear from some of our guests to know who you are. So after calling the meeting to order, I would entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion passes. Lisa, do we have any citizens' comments?
No, we have no comments.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the March 26, 2026 board meeting minutes published. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And then we had, of course, a special session. So the approval of the April 16th, 2026 board meeting minutes as published. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign, motion passes. Keith, we're next with the warrant number 9 for March of 2026.
During the month of March 2026, the college dispersed $4,438,313. Of that, $1,218,191 was for the outdoor athletic complex payment with Mammoth, and another $216,416 for the athletic complex payment to McAllister. All the other amounts as shown.
Entertain a motion, or that's you. It's been a long day. Motion to approve. Second.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
The same sign, motion passes. Thank you.
While I'm here, it looks like Joey didn't make it. Well, we'll get him next week.
Yes, so
We already know.
We do it next month.
Next month. Apparently everyone knows him anyway.
we'll be skipping the new employee introduction. Going to then the presidential search, which is the presidential profile review and approval. So Scott.
Thank you, ma'am. I first wanted to thank everybody who attended our public forums yesterday. We had about 118 attendees, both in person and online. I wanted to thank the individuals who filled out surveys to let us know what we should be looking for in our next president, those characteristics that we should look for. So we appreciate all that support. I further want to thank Dr. Brad Ebersole, our partner with ACCT, who helped lead us in this endeavor. And I finally want to thank the board for allowing us to partner with ACCT. So a lot of work was done from Marcom and others to pull together a presidential profile that I know is going to generate a lot of candidates and a lot of interest in this position. So thank you for that. So with that said, it is recommended the Board of Trustees review and approve the presidential profile for the search of the 7th president of the college. The profile reflects the qualifications, leadership characteristics, and institutional priorities identified as essential for the role. These were developed in conjunction with ACCT and inputs from students, staff, faculty, and community members. Board approval will mark the formal beginning of the presidential search process and allow recruitment activities to proceed.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Okay, any other questions at this time? And even that as the search committee, is there anything that have any questions about?
I think that was covered in our work session.
Is your friend?
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion passes. Thank you so much. We thank you, yes, Scott, for you and all of your team, and Sam as well. Okay, next on the agenda is the Student Government Association and Club updates.
We'll introduce first our SGA president, Marissa Foster, and she will introduce the guests, I think.
So I am here representing SGA. So I just have a few things to really share with you guys about students.
So come on up to the podium.
Gotcha, I'm going up here. Okay. So let's see. First of all, we had our spring fling yesterday. That was a great success. We had over 250 students show up. There was a bunch going on and it was a full house, so it was great. Our last SGA meeting is on April 29th, and that'll be at 3:30. SG will be handing out bagels on May 7th from 8 to 10 a.m. and that will be in Yater lobby. And then we're just focusing on wrapping up the semester, finishing strong and getting those that are graduating ready for graduation. So that's all I have to share.
And do you want to introduce or next up is Curtis Hartley, is the DECA sponsor.
So good evening, everyone. I'm Curtis Hartley, a member of the business faculty here, and I'm lucky enough to be the faculty advisor for SFCC DECA. And I'm here with one of my most promising and one of my favorite students, Zane, and he wants to talk to you about DECA.
Hello, everybody. My name is Zane Huffman. I am here attending as a part of my major as a criminal justice. I would like to present you some of the trips, adventures, successes that we had while attending SFCC DECA.
Bottom right, can you get him up to full screen, Darren?
I don't have my glasses. Do you see slideshow?
Yeah, but how would you, it's kind of over and
Look up there in the slideshow.
My slides that we made for FCC DECA. So as the title for this is our drive to the airport, Kansas City Airport, to continue to engage, which was in Tampa Bay, Florida. As you see in this picture, on the driver's seat, we have Mason. Passenger seat, we have Curtis. I am in the back right there. In the middle, we have Riley, and then look, he's out of the frame. We do have another one in there. Her name was Hannah. As you know, this is our first trip together. We were all trying to learn each other. We didn't know each other. This was the first trip. Then this was actually at 3 a.m. in the morning for our flight to go to Tampa Bay. We're all kind of tired, but the sign that we're throwing up is the sign of the DECA. There on the left, that is Hannah, then Riley, Michael, Mason, and then me again. This is in Tampa Bay. Again, this is one of our many adventures. I think before that, we just left the hotel that morning. We were going out for a little stroll around the city. This is the area that we had our main competition, everything. What this Engage was really for, it was for building connections, professional development and practice for competitions to come along. We have socials. We have socials every once in a while. We have our Christmas social, as you see here. We play games, we exchange gifts like White Elephant or other sort of activities during their Christmas social. We'll also have, along with other socials, with like going out to eat with each other, team building activities. This is just one of our practice meetings where we choose a different event that we're in, and we practice and use that event to help us build our strengths and see what our weaknesses are. Go along. This was the group that followed us to state DECA. We right starting on the left there, that is Ashley. Then moving on, that is Madison, and then Chloe, and then again Curtis, Riley, Elijah, and then me on the end. Right there is me waiting on my competition. I was getting ready to do my competition on market management. And then we continue to the actual competition where you see Riley, where she is setting up for her competition that she will then futurely go on and be in front of a judge where she would continue. That is also part of our state DECA group. That is Madison again, Ashley, and then Chloe. So then we move on to ICDC, which was in Louisville, Kentucky. We actually just got back yesterday afternoon from Louisville. That is one of the banners that they hung up for all the DECA attendees for Louisville. Thankful to Curtis and for taking us out to a very nice dinner where we could all socialize and meet and talk and make sure that we're ready for the competition to come in months. Thank you again, Curtis. An event that was happening that week was the opening for the Kentucky Derby, where it was called Thunder Over Louisville. They had a very, very fantastic fireworks show, along with a drone show and other activities that they had down near the river. So that was a very sight to see. Again, we got team building. Team building is very big. You want to make sure you know everybody that's in your group. We went to a place called Activate, where it was different games, different activities that you could do. You could build points and stuff. It was a very fun time. Just allowing us to get active and get to know each other a little bit more. Another big part of DECA and what they have is speakers. For ICDC, we had Charles Clark. He was a ex-Olympic athlete, where then he's changed to speaking to students or big groups. He was very inspiring, and there's plenty of other speakers that we get to listen to through our adventures and other activities that we see. Next up, I want to talk about our first time trying out for state FBLA. So FBLA is similar to DECA, and we wanted to give it a try. So on the left there is Elijah, and then me. We went this year to try the tryout state FBLA and give it a try to see how it works along with DECA and other organizations, which then led to me. I was an FBLA winner in my category. I believe my category was customer service. I won in that division.
You like it?
Yeah, of course. It is similar to DECA, but it has its differences, of course. So then I want to talk about some of the other awards that that me personally, I have actually won. I was offered a scholarship through the help of not only SFCC, but my advisor, Curtis, I was able to get a full ride to Columbia College for my next 2 years of colleging. I was rewarded over 50,000 in scholarships, and the reason why I'm going there now is I will be competing in DECA and FBLA at Columbia College next semester. So that is why we also want to look into not only having DECA as one of our ideas, but also having FBLA and having FSCC do DECA and FBLA for the first time next year. Thank you for your time.
You. Thank you, Marissa, as well.
Thank
Thank you for that report. I happened to be on campus yesterday, lunchtime, and so I got to see, all that was happening. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have the institutional report. So Darcy?
Hello, how are you tonight? So I'm reporting on this retention project, but I want to be clear, first of all, I'm the spokesperson, but this is a project that all of the leadership team has been working on. So I'm encouraging the audience for information. So if you want to add anything in as we go, jump right in. This started in January. Dr. Bates, I'll give you a little bit of a background information in just a second. But he challenged the leadership team in January to do something about our retention rates, not just to talk about it and to ponder about it, but to take action. So some of the foundation for this project, the first couple of graphs on the top is a comparison between State Fair's data and the top 200 Aspen Prize eligible institutions. And Dr. Bates covered this with us in our summer retreat last summer. And you can see the blue is State Fair and the orange color are the Aspen Prize winners. First to second year retention. To get into the class, get into the category of a possible Aspen Prize winner, which is our aspiration, we need to increase our year-to-year retention. The average for those Aspen schools is 59.3 and we're at 57. And our 3-year graduation and transfer rate, we're significantly behind. We're at 47%. Whereas the Aspen eligible institutions are at 56.4. Obviously, we can't complete them or graduate them if we don't retain them. So the first order of business is to retain our students. The second little set of charts down there, this comes from the Coordinating Board of Higher Education and the Missouri Higher Education enrollment tables. And it just shows for community colleges, not just community colleges, but the 14 two-year colleges in Missouri. We were ranked #1. We are at the very top for enrollment change for over 3 years. Our enrollment, as you've heard many times, has been increasing at a faster pace than any other community college. The second chart there, though, shows you where we are in retention. We are 12 out of 14. So Dr. Bates, again, he brought this up during his convocation speech in January, and then challenged ELT to do something about it. And he asked each and every one of us, what can you do as individuals to make this happen? So I'm going to go over some of the things that we've been working on for the last few months. Whoops, went the wrong direction. All right. So we were looking at mostly the 2023 and 2024 and 2025 fall IPEDS cohorts. So before I get into the data you see up there, I want to make sure you understand that a cohort that full is the full-time, first-time freshmen who start that fall. It's not all inclusive of every student who enrolls. It's just those first-time, full-time freshmen. And we are responsible for tracking their success basically forever at that point. Once they're in our cohort, we report on them, their retention, we report on their completion at 3 years, 6 years, 8 years, all the way through. So the fall 23 cohort had 790 students. Our goal is to have a 60% 3-year completion rate. In order to meet that goal, we need to graduate 474 students. I should say graduate or transfer. 474 students. Currently, I'm trying to use this as a pointer. This is what we have currently. We've already graduated 265 of them. So those are in the win column. And we have transferred 110. The number we have currently enrolled is 83, and that says unduplicated because there are students who will have graduated but still be enrolled. If they've earned a certificate, but they're working towards an AA, an AAS, then they would still be in that number. So I've extracted that out. It's unduplicated. We've had 332 of these students stop out. They're no longer attending anywhere. So to meet our 60% completion rate, we have to complete 99 more individuals by the end of this summer. Well, unfortunately, we only have 83 who are currently enrolled. If all 83 of those were to complete, our graduation rate, completion rate would be 58%. Close, but no cigar, right? So what can we do about that? Well, we need to either reach out to those stop outs, and we need to get 16 individuals to come back and complete that degree. Or another thing we can do is to auto award certificates. Our registrar can go through the degree, go through the credentials, or I guess the transcripts of those students who have stopped out and find out if in the new catalog, maybe with the reduced number of hours that we have for our programs, if we can auto award some of those certificates. So we're only looking, well, we've got to keep those 83, right? Retention again is huge. And then we've got to bring 16 more in order to meet that 60% goal. For the fall 24 cohort, there were 782 students. Our 60% completion goal will be 469 students. We have graduated 68, transferred 50, and our unduplicated number enrolled is 387. So we still have in our community here at the college, 387 of those students. And we need to complete then 351 of them by summer of 2027 in order to reach that completion goal. So we still have enough students, like I said, within our community that we can reach that goal. We have to be very intentional about our retention in order to do that. In addition to the other strategies that we can use. Okay, yes, sorry.
That was 90%. Retain 90% of what we have currently enrolled to meet the goal.
Quick math, good job.
Retain and graduate.
So our action plans, what are we doing to address the completion rate for the 2023 and 2024 cohorts? First of all, is to retain our currently enrolled students. That is first and foremost. We're going to do that by actively tracking them and making contact with them. We're also going to implement some new retention initiatives that I'm going to go into more detail about further on in this presentation. We're going to look at auto awarding those degrees and certificates to the stopped out students who qualify. And we're going to work to re-enroll those stopped out students. Now, if you added up the dropouts or the stop outs from the previous slide, that's 609 students in those two cohorts alone. And believe it or not, we really don't have a lot of staff sitting around with nothing to do, right? But to reach out to those 609 students and try to recruit them back in. So we have contracted with a partner. They're called Re-Up. We have talked about them in here. We signed a contract with them, if you remember. They are a specialized service who focuses on finding, engaging, and supporting those adult learners to get them re-enrolled into the institution and to see them through to completion. So we have engaged with them. There's very little risk to the college. They are only paid a portion of the tuition that we receive from the students that they recoup for us. So there's very little overhead risk for us. But there's an opportunity then that they will be able to bring some of those students from the 2023 and 2024 cohort back into it. So that's one of the new tools that we have at our disposal. All right, so the 2025 cohort, I have a short-term goal with them, and that is retention. The iPads retention number is from the student's first fall to their second fall. And how many can we retain? Our goal is 65%. There were 892 students in this cohort. Our retention goal then is to retain 580 of them for next fall. Currently, we have 10 who have already graduated with a certificate of some kind, and 716 who are still enrolled currently. Now, those 10, many, I can't remember exactly how many, maybe all 10 of them are still enrolled, working on an additional degree. Count them as graduates. So the total number is 726, and that's 81%. That's not too bad. Not too bad. We did have 166 that we lost after the first semester. So let's look at where we are right now. We have already started enrollment for the fall semester. And currently, of this 892, we have the 10 included in this number, 245 students who are already enrolled for next fall. That's only 27.5%, but we're only 23 days in. We got 152 days to go. But and we don't know how many of that cohort will be graduating to. We won't know that until all of that's entered into our system. So there's a long ways to go before we know exactly what our percentage retention is going to be. But we do know that they're a whole lot more likely to come back if we have them enrolled before they leave for the summer. That we have a plan in their hands, they know that they'll be coming back. If we leave it up to chance to come back in July or August to do it, we're more likely to lose them. So we are still focused. That's only 3 weeks away. Do you know that? So we've got 3 more weeks that we've got to make these contacts and try to ensure that this number gets up to that 65%. So here's our action plan. So of that 893 students, again, we don't have a lot of people with that much time on their hands to tackle a number that big. So we broke it out into manageable sets. We first divided out the enrolled students from the unenrolled students. The unenrolled students, we divided into categories based on some things that we knew about them. Did they owe us more than $750? So there's a financial hold that's not going to prevent them to enroll. Do they have fewer than 12 credit hours earned? So we're going to approach those groups with different strategies. So we broke them down into those different types of groups. Then we looked at our students who are currently enrolled. Because one thing that our IR department noticed as they were looking through this data is that students who don't persist from their first fall to their second fall, they don't just drop off after the first fall. Half or more of them drop off after the spring. So they'll give us a full year. And then we are more likely to lose them after that point, which makes it all the more important for us to be focusing on these students who are currently enrolled. So we broke them down into 4 groups. The arts and sciences that Jim leads, CTE with Misty's group, and health sciences. Allison and her group took on those. And then we also pulled out the athletes. For one thing, it reduces the numbers in the other groups. But this is also a population that has a special relationship with the institution, with their coaches. So we would have different strategies for reaching those students. Question, yes.
65% retention would be which percentile of community colleges?
Where would that put us in the percentile?
We looked at that goal was, correct me if I'm wrong, team, but I think it was above the median of the state community colleges.
From what I recall, looking at that chart today,
For community college, great.
midpoint or above. That's about the most specific I can get, but we can find out.
Okay.
We can get that.
But it's not in the top.
No, it's not.
It's right above the middle.
Okay, thank you.
Right. All right, so I'm going to go through some snippets that all of these participants provided on what they're doing for the short term, for this sprint that we have to get these students back for the fall. In arts and sciences, they're reaching out, Jim's group, they're reaching out to current students, as well as those who have stopped out to see about getting them back into classes. They're making phone calls, text messages, emails, and personal contact. In health sciences, they have built in a wide variety of retention activities. Their navigators are engaged, and they have been contacting unenrolled students, particularly from the 23 cohort who are getting ready to meet that. They've got to finish by the end of the summer to make sure that they're on track. Noting their discoveries, things they learn about why people might have left out, so they can try to get them re-enrolled. And they're also noting students who are on track to graduate and working on honing in on improving the 3-year completion rate. Allison or Jim, anything you want to add?
I would just say, that long list of students that are 23, 24 first-time, full-time freshmen who are gonna be nearing their 3-year completion rate coming up. We have 32 students on that list who are on track to graduate either May or December. So those graduates will help put us above the 60% completion rate.
Right, from the 23 cohort.
23, 24. As long as we keep them and they graduate.
I mean, it's been interesting. I've got family calling myself and my assistant. I mean, I've used my phone more in the last month than I've probably used it in 20 years. But you know, phone calls are a little tough. Especially the longer they've been out, the harder it is to get a hold of.
Yep.
We've had good results with talking to people or phone calls, text messages, emails. So I feel like there's some progress. A lot of them have excuses. They're going in the military. Most recent one was they want to go to culinary school. You know, they changed their minds. So there's some things like that, but it's a good opportunity to talk to some of these students, learn a little bit more about why.
Exactly. The third division is career and technical, and one of their navigators has actually been going out into the classroom to mass enroll students. They'll be pushing Canvas reminders into class, the Canvas shells for them to enroll next week. And after that, they'll start calling students who haven't enrolled. Misty, you want to add anything?
We've also got, we're doing open enrollment hours during class times, and then instructors can send their students to the navigators. There's very little wait time, and they can go and get enrolled right there from the classroom.
The next one, the second slide, the athletics. Now, I took this group and have been working with Darren and with the coaches on this one. Our student success, our navigators held an athletic enrollment event last week, and they enrolled 61 athletes at that time, which is 41% out of the 49 who are athletes of that cohort. Since that time, then I sent out a list to the coaches and said, these are the students on your rosters. I got help from Kathy Rumsey sorting out through the list, which students went to which sports. Sent those lists out to the coaches, and several of them have responded to me, and already I know that number is up to 46%, and that's with only a few of the coaches responding. And Darren is also going to continue to remind the coaches about making those connections. He focuses a lot on building the relationships that coaches can have with those students to help them retain also. Marketing, I only understand part of what he gave me. But they are integrating that 25 cohort into custom audience for targeted enrollment campaigns on social media. And they will integrate an audience into streaming, OTT, and digital display campaigns if possible. You got to explain that.
TV on the internet. Yeah, so we're doing our fall summer enrollment push right now. So we're working with our partners at Nexstar to see if we can integrate that audience specifically into that part of it. Same thing on the social media side as well. We're able to take that list and kind of develop that into an audience and try and pull those particular individuals specifically to get that messaging from them.
The registrar.
The president on that list too, so.
The registrar is auto awarding those certificates. That is a laborious process, going through all the students who might be eligible, going through transcripts, comparing them to the new catalog. So that's something that will take a bit of time. Strategic Services and ITS, they're responsible for all this data that we're looking at. They've been writing reports, pulling data, analyzing it. Sean and Becky spent time with me this morning, making sure all of the numbers here were current and as up to date as they could be. So these non-front facing offices are also involved in this project. In student services, we've got some various things going on. In financial aid, they're really targeting those students who have that $750 threshold that they owe us at least that much and aren't able to enroll. Trying to find, are there any means of financial aid that are available to them? So they're checking to see, do they have a FAFSA on file? Have they completed all of the requirements for that package? If not, they're reaching out to them. They're sending monthly emails to the student and the parent, postcards, phone calls. If they have filled out the FAFSA, they're missing some of their required documents, they're reaching out to them as well, trying to find some means to give them that, to cover that cost. Our student success or our navigators, in addition to holding that athletic enrollment event, they're prioritizing early enrollment for that fall 25 cohort. That includes building forward-facing academic plans. And what that means, that's a precursor to this guided pathways. It's not just looking at what do you need this coming semester, but what follows that and what follows that to get them really thinking towards the future. Trying to reduce the registration barriers such as holds, reinforcing the momentum for 15 to finish. And they are taking note of students who had unenrolled for the spring, but would now like to re-enroll. All right, so this isn't just a short-term project. We want this to be sustained. We want this to have a long-term impact. So there are a lot of things that we're doing that will have an effect not just on this cohort, but on cohorts to come. And some of these are things that we've been working on a couple of years. Some of them are things that are new this spring and are still in development. One of them is the Caring Campus. We have the faculty Caring Campus that is being led by a group of faculty, and the staff Caring Campus that Scott helps to lead out of HR. And one of the things that they do is they have a mentoring program that they've designed. So students who are struggling for any reason and reach out and have a faculty or a staff mentor who has volunteered to be that person to a student who's struggling. Scott, was there anything else?
No, you hit the nail on the head. It's just another way to help students succeed. And some of the mentors who are volunteers are actually sitting here in this room. So from the administrators to faculty to everybody's willing to pitch in and make a difference in an individual student's life.
We also have what we call their student first initiatives, and these came out of our summer planning session as kind of front burner items for us to work on this year. One of them is quality instruction. We had concerns based on student surveys consistently flagging the quality of instruction as an issue we needed to address. So Allison took on leadership of this one, and I know she's been working with other deans and with faculty to address particularly RSI, which is I went blank just regular and substantive interaction, making sure that those faculty are providing ample feedback, personal, teacher initiated contact. And what else would you want to say about it?
We are working specifically on making sure expectations are clear, because faculty didn't really feel like they had a clear expectation to begin with, and so clarifying that and then providing professional development and training so that they actually have the skill set to do the thing. And then we'll be rolling out our goal to create a plan of action so the faculty can indicate, okay, now these are the feedback methods and engagement methods that I plan to use in the fall semester. So yeah, we're making good progress.
The second student first initiative was designing a course schedule, a schedule of courses that meet the needs of the students so that they can have these classes available when they need them in order to stay on track to graduate within that 2 or 3 years. And note that this is it's connected to our strategic plan and our comprehensive support for student success, that transformational concept. And I'll tap Dr. Murders in just a moment, because I'm going to go ahead and talk about the next one also, which is guided pathways. Implementing our guided pathways ties with our K-12 relationship transformational concept. And Dr. Murders has led both of those student first initiatives. There are 2 sentences.
They're just simple, what they say, guided pathways. We build a means for students to know what they need to take and the order in which they take, so they will finish on time and in the direction they want to. So this will even go down to the K-12. So we're really going to even make more use of dual credit being more directed towards their pathway versus just taking it. So we're hoping to make even down to our dual credit more beneficial, but it also connects more seamlessly into all our degree plans and things like that. So starting from K-12, adult ed, CTC, all those K-12 opportunities all the way through and to graduation. It's about retain, graduate.
So there are a couple of spin-offs from the Guided Pathways project. One is multi-term enrollment or year-long scheduling, they might call it that as well. Where students this time of year, when they're coming in and they're going to make their schedule for the fall, at the same time, they go ahead and make their schedule for the spring semester. And that is a proven technique for increasing retention. Because for one thing, these students have their year-long plan in their hand. They can make their work arrangements around it. They can make their childcare, their financial arrangements, all a year in advance. It also removes that period of time where they have to decide if they're going to re-enroll for the next semester. They don't have to make that decision. They don't have to make an appointment or get online and do it. It's laid out in front of them. So that's another, we're not there yet. We're building towards that. We're going to try to get there as quickly as we can. And the second spinoff are the Pathway Support Teams. And these are collaborative groups from student services and academics whose primary purpose will be student success and student retention. We are still in the process of building a framework for those, but the important thing is that all of the deans have committed to making this happen, to getting this framework in place so that they can be ready to start in the fall. All right, the foundation is next in our long-term action plan. We know the foundation is always very supportive of our students and of our programs and our departments, and ample scholarships that they provide, over 300,000. And it looks like looking forward next year, FY26, that's this year, over 324,000.
Just went back just to check FY20. We've increased our scholarships just using a point of contact of the year. So I went back to FY20, we increased that by $96,000. 6 years of a big increase in scholarships. And it continues to be that, but the other is just seeking not only endowed scholarships, just those annual scholarships that can help our students.
And the business office is next. To help with this long-term, it helps the immediate and the long-term. They are adjusting the numbers and the timing of the use of Recovery Select, which is an intervention and outreach program, reaches out to students to help them become current on their account if they owe us money. It's not debt collection. That's not sending them to collections. It's just a partner who can help them make a plan, either to pay it up front, to set up a payment plan, or so forth. Keith tells me that the first year showed good results, and the second year they're increasing both the volume and also the timing for their assistance, which should reduce the number of students with those past due balance holds. We can get more of them enrolled. You heard anything to that? All good. All right. And then down to student services. Our navigators are doing something a little different than they had in the past. This is not brand new now. It started under Dr. Whitehead, I believe. Rather than waiting for faculty to raise flags or alerts in Starfish, they're proactively seeking that information by sending out progress surveys multiple times throughout the term and prompting the faculty to either give them flags if there are concerns or give them kudos, any type of feedback about the students. And then the navigators are monitoring those and responding appropriately. Could be outreach to the student, resource referrals, or coordinating with faculty to help them be successful. We have some changes in student engagement and residential life. Leah Mullins was hired in as our student engagement coordinator mid-year this year, and she's already doing a bang-up job, having a lot of student engagement activities. Our student SGA president told you about the spring fling that we had on Wednesday. It was very successful. It was fun to see people packed all around our green areas, doing things like axe throwing and obstacle courses and some cool things like that. So she's doing an excellent job, and I know she will continue to. We're also making some adjustments, some changes in our residential life program. We have some turnover in staff there and also some change in philosophies. We're going to be focusing a lot on community building, community and care of our students, And Leah's going to play a part in that as well, partnering with the Director of Residential Life, with the RAs to do regular programming and to have those students engaged on campus from move-in day and throughout the year to keep them feeling that this is their community and have a sense of belonging. And there are some AI platforms that we are engaging with to help with retention. This also ties in with our comprehensive support for student services transformational concept to link everything as we can to our strategic plan. The first one is called Advise. Now, you may have heard it called DataKind. Some of you, if you've heard that term, DataKind is the parent organization. Advise is this actual product. It is an AI-powered platform that uses predictive analytics to indicate which of our students have risk factors. They take our institutional data, which we will upload to them, and they use their algorithms and pour through literally hundreds of thousands of pieces of data to identify students and to give us an early warning system. Students who might be at risk before they reach that crisis point. They're going to spot things that are not obvious to the naked eye, you might say, by getting deep into that data, looking at how often is the student engaging with their Canvas course shells? Do they have any changes in their credit completion patterns, financial shifts, things like that? They don't reach out to the students. They're not, the way I like to say it, they are not simulating human contact. They are stimulating human contact. They're giving us a list of students saying these students need to be prioritized for a check-in. And the last thing, the other tool, AI tool that we are employing right now is EdSights. And this one is a chatbot that supports student retention and persistence through gathering qualitative data directly from the students. They send out automated texts on a regular basis just to check on some of their non-cognitive things, where Advise is looking at kind of the hard data. This is looking more at the soft data, what the students tell them about their sense of belonging, their financial stress, their academic engagement, things like that. It will have a dialogue with the student and provide them with links and information about resources we have based on keywords. It also, if there are certain trigger words that might indicate self-harm, homelessness, intent to drop out, then the system will send an email alert to a designated staff member so that we can take quick and decisive action to help keep that student in our community. So that concludes everything we've got going on right now with our retention project. So I would welcome any questions that they can answer for you.
Well, so retention and completions, really what we do, fail if we don't complete students and their goals. They start off to get education and training, and if they drop out, they fail their goals. So it's essential what we do. And if everyone is responsible for it, no one is responsible for it. So it's about accountability, and each member of our leadership team has taken accountability for improving our retention and completion, our success of our students. Broad range of activities. They're working very, very hard at it, and I appreciate each and every one of them stepping up to the plate, and it's going to have an impact. It's going to have an impact. So we're on a way to being an Aspen institution, and it's because of these folks sitting at the back of the room.
Thank you so much. Anybody else have any?
When we went to Seattle, Keith put up the slide of graduation. But that's what we're about. So to set aggressive targets and to make all these moves is good, because that's what we've got to be an institution with respect to our students, is that they need to succeed. And if they don't succeed, it's a shortcoming for us. appreciate the effort and the attention being paid to ensuring student success.
What have we learned that we feel like is the biggest reason we don't retain them? Is there a common theme there?
Not very specific. It's kind of life circumstances. Is what we hear of, and Linda has anything else to say?
I would say in my area, we do a withdrawal survey for every student that leaves any one of our programs, whether it's it doesn't matter what reason. And we ask them, how much influence did all of these factors have on your withdrawal? Whether it was academic or life, you know, what they said, and they'll rate those. And so for the past 3 years, we've culminated that and tried to target those areas specifically in health sciences and development and talk about it. And this last 2 years, the biggest issue for students has been test taking skills. That's their identification.
Yeah.
It's test taking skills and testing anxiety. They have other reasons too. I
Sure.
mean, study skills, life issues, you know, those kind of things, but the most common is test taking skills and test anxiety.
And how do we overcome that?
If we had to answer to that, we did have a really good speaker come in last summer who has metacognitive strategies to help students overcome these things. And we are not psychotherapists by any stretch, but you know, how can we help them to help themselves in these areas? And so she was really good and offered really good insight to our entire division. Now, these students take a lot of really high stakes tests in their classes. Not everybody, you know, not everywhere on campus has that. So, you know, trying to just find out what those things are and target those issues is what we're trying to do.
So the comprehensive support for student services concept team met yesterday to talk about what are some goals we can set for next year, trying to establish some suggestions for fast goals for next year. And one thing that came up was teaching students how to problem solve. Because we know that that's kind of a societal problem we're facing right now, that younger people haven't had the experience to learn how to solve problems. So what can we do maybe during student orientation with some simulations, or in a beginning college first year experience class? What can we build in there that's going to help them learn how to solve problems independently instead of looking for outside solutions? So those we're kind of addressing some of those strategies we can use to help them overcome issues.
Well, there's not one single thing discovered, and that's why there's a broad activity. Some of it's instruction, quality instruction, and engaging students in their discipline, and some of it is support services and 1,000 things. So, any other insight?
I think historically, we know that struggle with math and English. And that's not their. You cannot lose some to they get frustrated with their lack of success. And those things. So we're trying to figure out ways to, you know, again, guide it with test skills and study skills and help them in those areas.
Thank you all for what you're doing. I'm sure it will have an impact, that's for sure. Okay, next on the agenda is the iMac computers. Keith?
Well, Madam President, if you want, I could do, they're very similar, but 13 or 14 together, like we've done in the past. They're extremely similar. Both are the purchase of various computers, but one iMac computers, which is 17 iMac computers from Apple for the art department for a total cost of $38,726 using our additional budget authority that we've been given. The second is for our digital communications program, when they're purchasing 16 Dell computers and monitors from CDWG for a price of $35,965.60. Once again, from the additional funding authority given. So we're beefing up and basically significantly updating both of those programs, which had very, very old systems with them, both art and digital communications. So, ask for your approval on both of them.
Right, I would entertain a motion.
Okay.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Those same sign. Motion passes.
You might have noted in your minutes that Lisa's done some extensive research and found that the title of that action, when you combine two agenda items into one motion, is an omnibus motion. So you all just did an omnibus motion, and it'll be reflected correctly in the minutes. Our excellent assistant.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Our weekend attorney and his.
All right, next on the agenda, and this is for informational purposes, so we have representation on a couple of boards, committees, where it's on voting, but so one of those is the foundation board liaison appointment. So we're going to officially appoint Jeff Page as the board representative on the foundation board. Serve a 3-year term as the liaison between the Board of Trustees and the SFCC Foundation, and that is effective immediately. So thank you, Jim, for agreeing to do that. The next one is the Dahl Museum Acquisition Committee appointment. Again, informational purposes. And so we are going to appoint Richard Parker as the board's representative on the Dahl Museum Acquisitions Committee. Mr. Parker will serve a 2-year term as the liaison between the Board of Trustees and the committee to oversee the art acquisition process. And that is also effective immediately. So congratulations. Next on the agenda would be the president's report.
I'm going to keep this brief, but you have the calendar in the agenda. You can see there's a lot going on, especially tomorrow when we have our first pitch event for baseball and at 12:45. And then 1 o'clock is the Instructor of the Year Year award ceremony, and that is in Stoffaker Theater. 1 o'clock. So, okay, tomorrow. You all, most, if not all of you, participated in the foundation gala this year. It was a wonderful event. They say it's the best party in town. And thanks to our foundation, Mary Choiner, the executive director, Megan Cannon, Irina Stikov, Yazikov. I'm trying to go through one meeting without returning them. But Mary's going to give a brief update on what happened at
Here we had attendance, 326. This was true count of people in attendance based on people that were no-shows or sick or absent from the event. We sold over 40 tables, which made us close to almost 400 tickets sold for the event. 37 tables were present. The big announcement at the event said that we raised over $46,000 on just the dessert dash alone. After we got done with the evening of dessert dash, it raised $47,596.30. The very first year we raised dollars for the dessert dash, raised $13,000, and we thought that was very impressive. So our net total for the evening, as of right now, we have one expense out that we haven't received yet, but we look to appear that we've netted $102,000.
I think we need some.
Justin says it's because of the MC. I don't know.
They're probably double that number.
It is a fun event.
Then note in the calendar that we have commencement. Commencement's right around the corner, believe it or not. I don't know where the year's gone. But we need to know as soon as possible if you're not going to attend one of the 2 commencement ceremonies, Friday or Saturday, because they're doing the programs and the training information and the seating and all of that. So please let Lisa know. She's probably, I heard her following up with somebody today. So, that's the highlight of all of this work that we do, is seeing those students graduate. So hope to see you all there. And that's it for my report.
Next, we have the financial report, which of course is purposes as well.
As that's been going, we continue to have a strong financial year. We'll say starting with the April report, you'll start seeing the impact, or not the impact, but the spending of some of these additional budget authority items. So you'll see that in the expenses coming in about then, which is what we actually expect and need to do, is spend those monies. But we're able to do it because we are, again, continue to be strong in our revenue, continue to be holding pretty true to our budget on expense side, which allows us to get those expenses this year, which will help us into next year. Typically this year, I'm going to look at tuition fees. We're usually around 90% of our total goal. You can see that we're at 96, which falls in line with, the increase in enrollment budget, pretty much what we would expect. So everything there in line with where it's been. A couple of purchases during the month of between 10 and 25. We did purchase from the CR Labs, the video system for the ball fields, so they can be live streamed and filmed. I don't know if they're doing it yet.
Not all installed.
Installed, so getting installed. And then speaking of other graphic, there was actually some money available from DESE or the CTC program, so they took advantage of it and bought some graphics, digital cameras for their graphics program as well. And lastly, we have the quarterly investment report. The quarterly investment report shows that we have basically invested in between our demand deposits, time deposits, about 15.8 million. Of that, about 1/3 is in the timed investments, about 2/3 in demand deposit investments. Again, that was done on purpose to make sure we had liquidity for any potential purchases we might want to make during the year. But again, so you'll see that our time deposits are averaging about a 4.3% return rate, and then the demand deposits are now at 3.58. It looks like they may stay there for a while. So, any questions on that report? Okay, I'm it.
Thank you so very much. Okay, next is board discussion. Well, we kind of heard a little bit about President, but we have listened to have the report. Is there anything else that you feel like you need to add, Justin?
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered it. Just to highlight that we will not have an update every board meeting. That is not because of anything other than collecting apps. So the next update will probably come in August, which is kind of a number of apps. Well, maybe for a couple of months, the world is collecting applications.
Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Encourage folks to attend the drama performance. I went last night and they're really good performance. So I think folks will enjoy the evening there.
All right, so the next board meeting will be Thursday, May the 28th, 2026 at 5:30 here in the boardroom. On the agenda then next was a request for going into closed session, and then just looking past that, there is no other items, so we will immediately adjourn after the closed session to go out of general session. So I would entertain a motion to go into closed session for hiring, firing, disciplining, or promotion of personnel for the RSMO section 610.0213.
So moved.
Dr. Amy Sears is absent. Tim Carr, absent. Justin Hubbs.
Yes.
Jeff Page.
Yes.
Richard Parker.
Yes.
And Patty White.
Yes. All right. Good to see you all. You'll get home before maybe it rains. You're in.